All right, now what I want to do today is I want to have some interactability to these chains, and I think we're gonna do the ladders a little bit later because I think those are going to get pretty complicated. But what I want to do is I want to make it so that you can jump on the chains and climb up and down them. Now I don't know if we'll get done with that today or not. Also, I want to, in preparation for that, I have gone ahead and I have done a little bit of remodeling inside of our project, and I've broken out the player into his own PNG file. If you could see up here, this tiny little up here, I've added some climbing animations. Now those will probably change because they're pretty crude, but basically that's what I've done, just so that we can keep him all to himself and I can continue to animate the way I did before. So that required me to go in there and change some of the animation stuff, like the stuff that's on the animator, the what am I trying to say here? The frame. That's what I'm trying to say, and the texture. So I've changed all that for all of our animations, and I have this little climb animation, which again, pretty crude, and we'll probably fix that a little bit later. But you know, it does what it needs to do for now. And then I want to go ahead in our preparation before, so that you guys didn't have to watch me type it. I went ahead and went to the level script, and I added a place for a chain, and then I went ahead and added that so that it checks to see if it finds that chain tile, that it'll recreate it, because we're going to need an actual object for that, so that we'll know that we have a chain. and in that, what I want to do is come down here and add to a new folder, and I want to call it interactables. I think we'll just call it that. And what I want to do is create, basically what I want to do is I want to derive from this base triggerable, because we want that same kind of functionality. So I'm going to go do a new inherited scene from the base triggerable, and that's right here. Let's go to that, and then I'm going to change that sprite to, or actually what we could do is, instead of doing that, that's the base triggerable right there. I tell you what, instead of doing it that way, I think I may want to change this in some form or fashion, base triggerable. So I'm going to take that scene and I'm going to save that as under interactables, and I'm going to save it as base interactable, like that. And I'm going to remove, I want to remove this, that's the triggerable. I want to remove that script as well. So let's go back here. Let's F1 it and go back to trigger. I'm going to remove that script because that's not going to be what we want, and we'll call this interactable, because it's going to be basically the same kind of stuff, but instead of that that triggerable script, we're gonna want a different script, I believe. And there's a gajillion ways you can do this, of course. Let's go ahead and do a new inherited scene from that interactable, base interactable I got, and let's change that into our good old friend, the chain. And let's find where he is. I think he's 5. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, chain, looking for the chain, Come on, buddy. There it is. There's your chain. Okay, so there's our chain. To add a collision shape, we just want a rectangular, and we'll make it, you know, about the size of the chain, maybe a tad bit longer. And there we go. There we have our chain, and I'm going to save that as a chain scene. And now we need to make, and now here's where it comes into play, what we want to do exactly. So if we have a, and I've just it's the wrong thing. I want the base interactable. If we have our base interactable, which is what I have here, then I want to add a script to it, and let's just call that base interactable script. And I really just want to connect up. I think what I want to do is connect up when a body, enters, and then again when the body exits, just like so. And I'm trying to think of everything we want to do here, and kind of flying by the seat of my pants, if you know what I mean. Let's export a variable and make it a string. Let's call it type. And really, I'd probably rather it be an integer. So we'll just say it's, for now we'll say it's an integer. We may change that later. Oh no, you know what? Let's do this. I think we can do this. Let's do an enum here. Enum, interact type, and let's say chain. Let's say ladder. Those are the only two we have right now. And we should be able to do the following. Boom. And then let's say none as well. And we'll just say none here. Oh, and we have to, if you name an enum, I believe you have to clarify it like this. Okay, good. Now that should name it, and we should be able to tell it what we have here. Now, then what we want to do is we want to check this body, and we want to say if body.has method, let's say on interact entered. How about that, gentlemen, ladies, and gentlemen? Then let's call that method body.on interact entered, and let's say that it does take that type. That may be an issue. We may have to figure out how to make that type visible from everywhere else. We'll say exited. On interact exited, and we do not want two e's, my friends, and we do want to do that. That will make it feel better about itself. And in addition, we want to take this collision. No, it's not the collision. It's here. It's here. Inspector. I want to add, not trigger. We want to add interactable here. So let's go back over here to project settings. And we'll go down here to 2D physics, and we'll add interactable. Why not just make it completely clear as to what's going on here. And I'll save that, and then in addition, we'll go into the player scene real quick, and we'll take his collision layer, look at his mask, and we will also add him interactable so that he can see those as well. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and grab these two functions and give them to the player so that said player can respond to those. On interact entered, and that's going to be type, and we'll say print type. We'll just print it for now, just to see that we've done it. And then also interact exited back here, there, and type. And then we can just go here and then do that. Okay. And then, okay, I'm trying to keep track of everything we have to do here. We want to go back to the level scene because we're going to need to, if you will, we're going to need to go back to level, and we're going to need to put in the ladder, or I'm not the ladder, the chain object here, which we just created. So we want this chain scene. So anytime it sees that chain style, it should give us that chain. So let's run this and see what we have so far. Okay, chains are there. That's good. Let's move around and let me see if, yep, we're getting that. See that 0? That is what we want, I think. That's something else we need to do that we did not do. Let's go back into the chain scene, and we need to tell it type chain. Now we know what type it is, So this is a type chain. Now, we are going to need some additional controls as well. So let's go back to the project settings. Come into input map. We're going to need an up and we're going to need a down. Surprisingly enough, and instead of jump being the up key, I'm going to change it. Well, you can do what you want. I'm going to change it to the Z key, and then up. I'm just going to make it the up arrow, and then down is going to be the down arrow. Down is going to be the down arrow. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's go back into the player script then. And I don't think we're going to have much of a hope of getting this all finished on time, but that's okay. Let's create, I did think about just creating a state called climb, but I think I'm going to do, for now, we're just going to have a state called climb vine. And so we'll have a function also called climb vine, and then we will be doing some stuff in here as well. So we have a state, or not a state, we have a little function that we called horizontal. Let's create a function called vertical so that we can do similar things there. Okay, function vertical, so we can do vertical movement that way. And instead of right and left, it's going to be up and down. So we'll do up and velocity.y, and I'd say let's see if we can do like half speed for climbing up and then down. You know, maybe we do something. And let's see. I'm not even sure if the I think negative would be up here, wouldn't it? And then positive is down here. We could do like something like 3 times speed divided by. Oh, let's do this. Let's just do this. It's easier. 0.75. So 3/4 speed or something like that when we're getting down. We don't have to do any flipping. No flipping required. And then we could say if we're just trying to get this thing to work, right? So oh, and I need to, yeah. Just trying to get this thing to just to see what we can see so far. So we're not really doing. That's the problem right there. We're not really doing a whole lot here, other than. So we'll say else velocity dot y equals to 0. So no velocity when you're not moving here. And so this climb vine. We want, on the physics, we want to say if state is not equal to climb vine. Climb vine. So only if the state is not equal to climb vine do we apply gravity. So let's see. So then when we enter one of these fellows, we probably also, we want to know the position of this thing as well. But let's start with this. So if we're, let's say in order to get on a vine, you have to be jumping. Okay, so then this would be where we would, so if we're jumping, so if, and we'll have to count these as well. So if I do something like var vines equals 0, something like that. So we would say vines plus equals 1. We need to count the number of vines that we are currently overlapping. We need to do the same thing here. Vines equals max. I don't want it to go below 0. So we'll do that minus 1. So we'll go ahead and increase or decrease those as needed. But when we enter one, if we're jumping, if we're in the jump state, or I'm sorry, if state equals jump, then let's set our state equal to climb vine. Because climb vine is amazing, and that's what we want to do, right? If we're in the jump state. So when we set our state equal to climb vine, one of the things we want to do is we want to move horizontal. So we want that horizontal move. And we won't be able to do that. and we I'm checking here. We want to set our x velocity dot x equals 0. So we're not going to allow any movement left or right whenever we're climbing things, because I think it's the most awesome feeling when you do it that way. So we're going to, not horizontal, I'm sorry, it's vertical. Again, seat of the pants type stuff, you know. So here we go, and we're going to go up here and we're going to say, okay, also if we have climb vine, then call this climb vine function, and we don't need that pass anymore, so I'm going to take that out. Okay, so climb vine, and if action is pressed jump. See, we're gonna have to do some stuff here because we want to be able to jump off the vine. We also want to be able to fall off the vine. But let's see what happens when we do this particular deal here. Let's see if it even stops us at all. And it probably will. Surely there's going to be an error, right? Let's see. Okay, so we can jump. Oh, nope, look at that. That's what we want, and we can go up and down. And look, you notice that we're going, and we can't go up too high. But also, I want, in addition to this, we want to say, I want the position of that. We'll call it object position, and that's going to be vector 2. Okay. So let's go back to our base interactable, and we'll say global position we want to send here. So we need, what we want is the x coordinate, because we're going to snap our player to that x coordinate when we come into the climb vine state here. So we're going to say global position dot x equals object position dot x. So that's going to be, so let's see if that works. That should snap us directly to the, well, not vine, the chain. I'm saying that wrong. And it does. Now we have a climb up and down. Okay, so I just realized that this is wrong. I've been saying this wrong the whole time. Let's replace that, and let's call it climb chain. Yeah, because I like it better. Makes more sense, doesn't it? Climb chain, climb chain. Uh-oh. Climb chain. I don't want that to be the same. No, 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 no. There we are. Okay, so up and down. Let's do the same here. We want to say, oh, you know what? Something else that I don't have, and that is, I have a climb, but I don't have an idle climb. So let's copy. Let's copy this, and let's duplicate it. Yeah, and let's rename it. Rename. We'll call it climb idle. So basically, we want him to be hanging when he's not moving up or down. Look, I think what we'll do is we'll try to get this done. I'm just going to use this first frame. We may come back and do a frame later for that. It doesn't need a loop, and it doesn't need to be that big. It can be like 0.05. So just something very small. Climb idle. I'm going to save that. So what we'll do is we'll play that here. So we'll say climb idle. So if velocity 0, we'll play the idle. And otherwise, actually, let's just go down here and do this. If velocity dot y equals 0, we'll do this. Else we will play the climb. This is probably all we'll do for this particular installment, and then we'll get onto the specifics of being able to jump off of it off of our vine, and then also drop off of it whenever we, and you can see we have another issue too, and I know where that's coming from. Our air jumps are not properly being calculated, and that's right here. So what we want to do here is we want to say and air jumps greater than or equal to 0. I think that was in there at one point, but I don't know why it got out. But see, now we only have that one air jump. That's perfectly good. All right, let's see if we can jump up and grab that vine, and we can, and he can kind of climb up and down it. So now what needs to happen is whenever he gets off of that, and say he has none and he's in the air, he should go to the fall state. So we can say if vines equals 0 and state equals climb chain, then state equals fall. How about that? Let's see what that does. We'll jump over here. Oh, we'll just jump over here then. And he fell. Let me try that again from that other chain up at the top. This one. See what. I mean, I think he should probably. I mean, you see what's happening here. He's not being set to the fall. I mean, we don't really have I don't think we have a fall animation, do we? Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Just for now. So at this point, we can jump. If I can jump, I can't remember. Trying to press the up key still. We can jump, grab a hold of the vine, and then boom. So we can fall off the bottom of the vine, but we can't jump off of the vine in any particular direction. I think we will, in the next video, we will conquer that. So we'll be able to jump, grab a hold of the vine like this, and then also jump to the left or to the right of it. And until then, we will see you next time.